Everybody's rolling on in here. We'll let everybody in. Good. Hi, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Good to see y'all. Hey, I think we've got everybody in for now. We might have some more roll in here. We've got some people that can't be on camera, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. We are going to talk about those of you who are wrapping up step 4. Want to hear all about it? But first, we're going to start in prayer. And I will start us in prayer today. How about that? All right. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we come together, Lord. It's all about the study and the stewardship of these bodies you have given us, Lord. First and foremost, we're just so grateful for the gift of these bodies that take us through the gift of life, Lord. And we are here to honor and steward them well in all that we do. We thank you for this time. We invite you into this time. Let it be a blessed and fruitful conversation. In your son's name we pray. Amen. Okay, my friends. Well, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? We've got a few questions today that we will go through. We had several questions about kind of what comes next for those of you who are wrapping up this last step here. So we can certainly talk about that. Does anybody want to share anything that's happened over the last month? Good, bad, ugly? Any interesting insights that you found? Anything you tried? Anybody kick it up? Have to take it back a little bit? See anything funky? Anything? Nope. Okay. Oh, Anne looks like I'm gonna. Oh, there you are.
I need to get out of where I'm at though, because I have a hard time hearing you. I'm not sure if it's from your end or my end, so I'm gonna go outside.
It's me. I've had a couple people tell me that over the last few days, and I cannot figure it out. I'll try to talk loud. I'm not sure where the setting is that's messed up, but I think it's me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can turn. I think every time I have a hard time hearing, but right now it's even especially hard.
Let me see what here. Okay. I don't know. I can't find where I've been looking actually for the audio for like the last 15 minutes but I can't find it. So I'll just talk loud, but tell me what you got.
So I guess I just wanted to see just do a tally of what other people went through, just to get a big picture. So it kind of gives me an idea of where I'm at and where I'm headed. And I know that everybody's different, but I guess my impression is that a lot of people didn't have or too much of it anyway. This last month I didn't have. As soon as we went off the Para One, I guess maybe that's what caused it. I'm not sure, but I didn't have any of the biofilm or any weird thing um, come out of me. But I had it like every day in months 2 and 3.
Wow. What kind of stuff?
Um, I don't stringy, icky, some scary, some just stringy. Some of it was like had different legs to it, some of it was just really long. And I know that unless uh I went through it, I took a really long metal stick every time just to see. And if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't know it was there. So if people didn't go through it, they may not know that what they had. But
Right.
I went through it just to see what was going on. And um I wouldn't say every day. I would say 95% of the times. In As soon as we went on in month 2 and month 3, something was there, and sometimes it was just multi and bulky, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it had thickness to it. It didn't break apart easily. I was just wondering if anybody else has anything close to that.
So that was happening a lot in months 2 and 3?
Yes.
And did it subside a little bit, or is it still happening?
As soon as we switched over, um, it subsided a little bit between 2 and 3, but maybe for a couple of days, and then as my body was readjusting, maybe to the difference. And I think I did do the 3-week on para 3, and then went off, and then we finished the bottle and doing para 4. I mean, excuse me, doing stage 4.
Okay, so you went on and brought it back in after your week break.
Right, and also remember, I was doing the comprehensive.
Yes, yes.
So, but yeah, within a few days of starting stage 4, it stopped, and I mostly had like little white specks, but I don't know if I eat a lot of nuts. I don't know if it was just unprocessed nuts, but yeah, a lot of specks. And in the beginning, the first stage, I had a lot of floating stuff that's eventually subsided.
Okay. Interesting. Anybody else? So Anne was just kind of describing what she had, and just kind of curious to see how other people have measured up in their experience. I think that's what I was hearing you say, Anne, right? Just
Yeah.
kind of trying to get a sense of how other people were measuring up, either overall or in this step or anything. So if anybody's willing to share now that we've gotten through a little bit more, excuse me, would love to just jump on and let us know kind of where you are. Monica said she's super happy to have normal poop back after 3 months of diarrhea. I bet you are, girl.
So I have this last month has been really like nothing is going on, except for I have specks also. I would say they're yellowish. But I had seen lots of rope-like things the first couple of months. And the third month I didn't feel well most of the time. But I didn't go poking. I didn't go looking, so I don't know, what was inside there. But this month's been very easy. And like I said, I still have specks, and I have 1 more week to go.
Did you bring para 3 back in?
You mean this month?
Mm-hmm.
No, I should.
No, you didn't have to.
Okay.
Nobody had to. Just
Yeah.
an option.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. It's not a part of step 4, but and I think that was one of the questions we had, but you could, if you wanted, bring it back in, but you don't have to.
Okay.
See
what happens.
Interesting. Okay, so Monica said she's in the chat and she must not be able to be on camera. For me, it started on month 3 to see creatures coming out. In month 2, I had biofilms coming out, and that is when the diarrhea started. Okay. But you were definitely moving some stuff out. Monica, were you looking? Were you picking apart? If you can answer that, let us know. Just curious, because you definitely see more when you poke around in there. So didn't know if you just kind of saw that with your naked eye, or without poking around or not. Anybody else?
Well, I'm behind you guys. I'm in month 2, and that's why I jumped on this call. I've been listening to the recordings, but yeah, so the biofilm thing is like the rope kind of things that come out, because there's some weird stuff. I'm only halfway through month 2, phase 2. So there's already that rope stuff like she was talking about coming out. Is that biofilm?
It can be partially that.
Or is it?
A lot of it is just kind of that mucosal gunk, the stuff coming off of the intestinal walls that gets kind of roped up. So it's not necessarily a ropeworm. It's more likely that.
Okay.
It's kind of all the stuff that's being kind of scraped off, and para 1 really helps kind of scrape stuff off the intestinal walls, pull it together and gel it up. And then, so that's a lot of what we see are some of those. It's not to say, now some people do have wormy things come out, but it's pretty common for people to see the the like the name is escaping me right now. It's what it is. It's the perimenopause brain. I can't think of it, but yeah, it's just the gunk that's kind of roped up that comes off, and that's pretty normal to see.
And I think there was one little, looked like a species that came out. It was very small, like the top of my thumb.
Yeah.
And it was like spotted a little bit. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
A spotted creature.
I was like, did I swallow a bug or something? So I don't know. Just curious. Because
Yeah.
it was a little scary. And I was wondering what that rope stuff was. I mean, I read about the biofilm, but I didn't really know, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
How did Monica distinct between, because she says that just in month 2 she saw biofilm, and in month 3 she saw creatures. So how does she differentiate between the two?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I did take them out and got pictures. Yes, I do know you, Monica. She's a scientist. Oh, look.
All
There she
right.
is.
So let me step out and talk to
Right
you guys.
there. Talk to us.
So the difference between the biofilms and the creatures is basically the biofilm is it's smaller, it's kind of round, or and it's like a film, like a tissue shape, like a piece of tissue, like if you take a piece of your skin or something, and it's not super thick, but you can tell it's a film, it's a tissue. I don't know how else to say it. And the creatures in my case were tapeworms or ringworms, I don't know, because they were super long. And yeah, I took them out. I put them on a paper towel and I took pictures, of course.
Of course. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. But your bowels have kind of settled back now.
Yeah, after I finished para 3 is when I started getting normal stools again, because as I say, after the biofilm came out, diarrhea started and never went away until I finished para 3. So it was with para 1, para 2, and para 3. But now with para 4, fine, perfect. But I
Okay.
never felt bad, never. It was only the diarrhea. I never felt sick. I never had anything. It was just the diarrhea. But it was severe. It was
significant.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, and I had that somebody like that in my last group. Same thing, like diarrhea twice a day, pretty significant. Didn't
Yeah.
feel bad at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, it's a little bit life disruptive.
Yeah, it was really bad. I had a couple of accidents and I ended up having to take an anti-diarrhea pill. I took just a quarter of the pill to get through the day and to be able to work. That's how bad it was. It was really bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know we talked about it, but did you dial back on?
I did on the para 3. I
Okay.
did dial down on the para 3, yes.
Okay.
But honestly, it didn't make much difference until I stopped it. That's why I was thinking, like, should I take it back on a lower dose for a little bit more to make sure I got rid of everything? I don't know.
I think you could bring it back. You could bring it back in and
Yeah.
see. It'd be interesting now that things have leveled out. If you brought it back in, and I would do it slowly, one dose,
Yeah.
slowly work up to it, and just see what happens. When are you going on your mission trip?
June 13th. So I
Okay.
have time.
You have time. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't want that happening on your mission trip.
No.
That would not be good.
Yeah.
Play with that. I'd be curious to see what happens
Okay.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that and I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Report back.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Monica, that was helpful.
Huh?
I said, thank you. That was helpful.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
Awesome.
Chelsea, I'm going to piggyback on that since the whole topic of diarrhea has been brought up.
Okay.
That was intriguing to me to hear her say that, because I was fine the other 3 stages, but then, and I was one of the ones that asked a question about it for today's session, but I'll just bring it up now. But it's bad. Like when she said, like, I don't know how she's working. Like there are times when I'm like, I could barely make it home, it's crazy. And so I know that's probably not healthy. So like, how long do you let that kind of go without intervening or cutting back or?
Right. So, you're doing step 3 right now?
4.
Okay, you're
4.
in
This,
4.
yeah, like I'm hearing people say, oh, I'm fine. Like, and again, haven't felt sick or anything. I had a lot of bloating issues in the other stages, a little looser in step 1. I would say bloating in step 2 and 3, that kind of subsided. And then, wow, I've just been hit with these loose bowel movements. And I am probably on week 2 and 2.5, maybe weeks in.
Step 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't bring para 3 back in.
No.
Okay. And that's fine. Again, that's the norm. That's what most people do. It's just an option. I wonder what might be an interesting experiment is to bring para 3 back in.
And see.
A lot. Yeah, that sounds like a little scary double downing, but you might just see.
Yeah, it might actually help firm things up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. That is an option. You could also increase your binder. When is it happening? Is it all throughout the day, or do you have every time you go to the bathroom?
Yeah, middle of the night. Yeah.
Yeah,
I almost feel like I'm prepping for a colonoscopy. I'm like, what is going on?
yeah. And that's, that I didn't ask Monica, but one of the other ladies in my group before this, hers was twice a day. It was like clockwork, and one of them was hitting in the middle of the night. So interesting. When and that's a time when parasites are, a little bit more active. So could be related to that. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, you might bring in that para 3 and try. Laura is suggesting, and this would have been a good one for you, Monica, too, that you could use. It's a Mega IgG. It's not made by Cellcore, but it's made by Microbiome Labs. And it is a good one to have on hand if you have diarrhea, just kind of in general. It's a nice one to have on hand. You can get it through FullScript if you have a FullScript account with me. And so, yeah, and it's good it's gut supportive. It's gut supportive. And so I don't know if Monica is still here, but so she can hear this, but that would be something, yeah, she is. That would be something that you could bring in, like instead of an anti-diarrheal, some kind of tablet, like this would be something that would help that also. It has a little bit of binding capacity. It also supportive of the gut. That would be something that was helpful during that. But that's also a little bit, it's kind of using a Band-Aid, right, to get there, but would also be gut supportive. But you might try bringing in para 3 alongside it, see what that does. You could increase your binder. I would just start with once a day and see if that helps. Maybe the second dose of your binder.
Yeah, and that's just the binder that's in this step. Just add an additional pill.
Yeah,
okay.
I would just add an additional maybe in your second set.
Okay.
Day. See if that helps. If that doesn't do anything and you're still, this is still an issue. Again, we get to that point where the options are dial back, put down the accelerator pedal, and dose up.
Yeah.
I try these other things first, and just make sure also you are, with that, staying hydrated, using some electrolytes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Doing that.
And is that just getting rid of all, I know this month is like the toxins, like the metal and all, is that why the body's reacting differently?
It could be.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you might just have a little bit more to expel in the step.
Okay.
And just, again, diarrhea, the body is just, the body wants it out, right? It is trying to exit.
Yeah. Like the
So-
first time it happened, I was out and about running errands and I'm like, did I eat something for lunch? Or breakfast or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm like, no, nothing was new. And then when it kept happening, my husband's like, I'm pretty sure it's your protocol you're doing. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Forgot about
Well,
that.
we forget, right? Yeah. That we're still, stirring some up and that each step can be very, very different. Depending on what we are stirring up and the body's trying to get rid of.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do that, let us know. I'd be curious to know how that
Okay.
okay. Dana said in the chat, my Cellcore month 4 is exactly like my month 3 products. Oh, you got the wrong things. Oh, yeah. Do I need to do it or wait till later? I'm at the end of 3 now. I felt totally normal during step 3. Okay, so Dana, maybe email me and let's figure that out. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So you got an extra box of step 3. Yeah, I remember you had a funky thing. Okay, email me and let's talk about that.
I have a question based on what other people were talking about. So I never had an issue with diarrhea. I have a history of constipation. So every once in a while I have to take something to make sure things are continuing to move. And again, sorry, my brain just went away. What was I going to say? What were we talking about?
Constipation. You were not getting diarrhea.
Oh, so but I even went to all the way up to 25 drops on the Para 3 every day, and I didn't have any problems as far as feeling yucky or diarrhea or anything. And then once we started Para 4, I had to really be careful about constipation. And then, like I said, not Para 4, stage 4, which included Para 4. And then I'd still have to take every few days, something to help keep things moving. And I tended to get constipated more in stage 4 than I was in stage 3. But I never had a diarrhea issue. And like I said, we went all the way up to 25, and then we took a week off, and then went back to Para 3, and I was probably doing at least 1 drop, 15 drops a day minimally. So just so it would stretch out. So do you have any thoughts of why some people would have diarrhea and others not?
I mean, it's just, it varies so much wildly from person to person and step to step. Sometimes the binders can be constipating for people. And so we do have some issue with that sometimes, although the Cellcore binders seem to be less constipating than some others that we've worked with, but it just varies. And sometimes if you've got a lot to expel, we might have some more diarrhea. So it's just hard to say.
Okay, thank you.
But you're managing okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually finishing today. We're done all 4 months today. Woohoo!
Awesome! Woo!
Yeah.
That is, that's a feat. That is accomplishing something. Yes. Again, I am proud of all of you for those of you sticking it all out through step 4. Because there are some ups and downs. There can be, especially like when you are experiencing that diarrhea. It's life disruptive. And it can be that. So just y'all are doing awesome for sticking it out, being willing to try different things. Johnson, did y'all want to tell us how you're doing?
Sure. Ours is like uneventful. So we have like 2 days left to finish. But pretty much, I don't think either of us saw anything the entire time. We didn't go digging around, but like every time I went, I just did an eyes on and I saw nothing out of the ordinary. Every single step seemed normal. We had like no reactions to anything. I got sick like twice during maybe 2 and step 3. And so that was a little bit to get through, but I continued mostly, except for like a couple days when I was throwing them up. But mostly I continued everything we did normal. We both lost some weight. I lost probably like 6 pounds or something. Which is kind of surprising. I wasn't exactly intending to do that. But and we did do you had said when we start step 3 to try waiting a couple days first and throw the other stuff in before the para. And so we
Yeah.
waited like 3 days or something, and then we did the para. And then on the end, we had the couple days that it was off before we switched to 4.
Got
And
it.
everything went smooth, perfectly fine. We didn't seem to have reactions to really anything that we did the whole time.
That's quit bragging. No, I'm just
Yeah, I
kidding.
don't know. But then it makes me think like maybe it didn't even work. Like, what did it really do? I don't know, you know.
See, I know it's this some people, what I told y'all from the beginning, some people sail through it, don't see anything. Again, just unless you pick through, a lot of times you don't see stuff. Some people sail through it and some people have these kind of peaks and valleys. It's definitely it's doing something. I mean, there's no way you can take everything that you just took and it is not shifting things in your microbiome, pulling toxins, that kind of thing. So just know that it's absolutely doing something. But that's interesting that you lost weight. But when that is, it is a side effect for some people that when you balance that microbiome out a little bit better and you have a better, there's certain strains of bacteria that are more efficient with the way they utilize food calories. So we can see a shift like that sometimes. Very interesting. Good stuff. Way to stick it out though. So y'all are about wrapped up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Well done. Anybody else? Okay, Dana's asking, has anyone experienced burning in their left side area since they began?
I had a couple times a sharp pain. I wouldn't call it burning, but I just thought it was things moving because it didn't last very long. It would be like, oh gosh, there it is. And then within a minute, it would pass.
Okay.
It was like almost like a cramping more than a burning.
Okay. Anybody else experiencing that? Dana, is that happening? Has that been ongoing? Did it start with a certain, I know you're kind of doing a little bit different set. Just curious. If you want to give it started last month. Okay. And is it like every day happening? Not necessarily. Okay. Hit or miss. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Nobody else felt that, except maybe Anne a little bit. Okay. Dana, if you feel like you need to troubleshoot that, let me know. I notice it more when I do the vibration plate. Okay, interesting. Helping stir stuff up in there. Maybe just things are moving. It's burning. It's not like a cramping. I don't know. I wonder if it was lymphatic drainage burning. And it's inside, it's not outside. Because some people, I get some reports when people do the vibration plate, okay, inside, they get itchy in certain places. Just, okay, it's not like that. It's like a kind of burning on the inside. Huh. Maybe, it's hard to say for sure. Hard to say. Well, let's keep in touch on that if it keeps bothering you. Anybody else have any experience to share? So fascinating.
I have a question about an experience. I've had a lot of stuff going on, sinus in the head and ear infections. So the doctor says, here, there's always something here. And I've felt a little more like stuff is moving around in there. And then this morning it was real achy. I don't know does that have anything to do with this or I just,
I mean, it could.
yeah.
It
It's just, yeah, go
whether
ahead.
it's a kind of a detox reaction or moving stuff around in there as far as like you think you might have something. I mean, because I have seen videos and pictures of people like pulling things out of their nose, getting them out of their corners of the eyes. I even saw one person like she had something like moving across her cheek underneath the skin.
Yeah, I feel liquidy stuff, coming out more than I've ever felt it. Like when I'm sleeping, I can feel liquid coming out. And I haven't felt that before, but it's just, there's always this, like, over the past year or so, the ear infection, the doctor looked in there and he could tell they're always irritated because I've been sick not several times, but a few times, which is not like me, but I just didn't know, but that sounds like it could be part of it. I hope, pray, because I really want to get rid of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hope so. Do you do any of the, you can do like a nasal rinse with the para-3?
no,
Okay.
really.
Well, or like nebulize or do like a
Yeah.
nasal rinse, but I would do like 1 drop.
Para-3 and a
Uh-huh.
nebulizer. Okay. I've
You,
ordered
yeah,
one. So a nebulizer. And then I just ordered the phase 3. So the para-3 will come in there. Should I probably get some extra?
para-3. You'll have enough para-3. You'll have leftover. Yeah, you'll have
Okay.
yeah, you'll have plenty. And
Awesome.
yeah, I would try that.
Yeah.
But start with the drop because it can be burny.
Okay.
So, and then if you tolerate that fine, you can increase. I think Crystal, she didn't know she did like 5 drops. I think I heard her say that because
Burn your brain up.
extra. But yeah, start with 1 drop, see how that does, and see if that helps. Kind of move some things up, burn some things out.
I'll definitely do that. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? If not, I'll share my screen. We'll make sure we're getting to talk about some of the questions. Okay, so here we are in step 4 that y'all are wrapping up. Let's see, I wanted to make sure that we get to all the questions you guys had. Okay, so Jackie is asking, I have really enjoyed these last few months of detox and I do feel better. So glad, Jackie. My question is, out of all of the supplements we have taken, which ones would you recommend to continue taking on a regular basis? And then we had, okay, and then Nora, you had the kind of the same question, like maybe 1 or 2. So I'm going to go through some different just options here. If I had to pick 1 or 2 to start with, well, first of all, let me show you, is it this one? I'll show you what their maintenance kit is. This comes with 3, but I would say just to show you like what they would consider maintenance. But if I had to pick 2, I would pick CT Minerals and ViRed-Chem. Just kind of on an ongoing daily health basis. Remember that the ViRed, I think having a binder on hand, whether you take it every day or not, I think most people probably could stand to take it. I don't every day because I don't eat out much. I cook all my own food. Like if I'm gonna drink some wine or something like that, I'll take it, or I might take it depending on if I'm eating something maybe a little more junky or just, if I'm going to have more toxin exposure, if you're somebody that's out and about and a lot, you're eating out a lot, um, a binder, could be useful every day and you could take it regularly. It's just, can get expensive to do that, but I would have one on hand because when you need it, you need it. And the Virad Chem is the combination of, remember, it's a third biotoxin binder, it is a third HMET, and it's a third its own thing. So it's kind of a good all-around one to have on hand. Okay, so like CT Minerals and the Virad Chem. Now, let's see. So yeah, CT Minerals. Now they just came out with their core nutrients, which is kind of like a multivitamin, basically. And this might be a good one to cycle in or even maybe alternate with your CT Minerals. It's going to cover, the CT Minerals are more of a trace minerals. This is going to act more like a multivitamin, okay, with a lot of things in it, including some iodine, and some different things in there that are going to be helpful, a helpful blend. Let me check in the chat here. Let's see. I am familiar with AG1, Nori. It's funny. I just, I think it's a good product. Not the same as CT Minerals. It's going to have more trace minerals, and CT Minerals is going to have the that fulvic acid, which is kind of the magic sauce of how it gets into the cells. That's the thing when we're talking, just again, to kind of reinforce, like, what is the special sauce about CellCore is their carbon technology, which is the humic, the fulvic, the polysaccharides. It's got energy. It's got that ability to get into the cell more efficiently, work systemically. It knows, it's got that smart technology about it where it knows kind of what to take and what to leave. Especially when we're talking about the binders. And CT Minerals can be just, it's got a little bit of binding capacity, but not full on like the binders. But that is all, it's kind of reading the electrons and protons in, all minerals, all elements have these, like a kind of a different amount of protons and electrons, energy. And so it's interacting with that energy, knowing what to give and to take, which is why it's just so awesome. Oh yeah, I would. Yes, for sure. In fact, it's funny. Again, I think AG1 is a fine product. Those kind of products, just for me, tend to bloat me. When you have a lot of that kind of concentrated green, that doesn't do that for everybody. But they sent me a big packet of stuff to try a while back. And I tried some, and it's okay. It kind of makes me bloated. But we just had a Christian Health Club retreat, and I just took all I had, and I was like, I just gave it away because it's not something I could really incorporate into my routine. Again, it's not a bad product, but it's also not inexpensive to do on a regular basis. So, but I do. Now, I will say, probably the core nutrients is going to be more similar, and then it's a more getting a little bit of more variety, multivitamin instead of just the trace minerals. So it's probably a little bit more of an equal comparison. Okay. I would just go through, like, if you were going to cycle it, just a bottle here, a bottle there, maybe just kind of go back and forth. I mean, there's something that you could take indefinitely, that you could just cycle. I mean, you could actually take both at the same time, but again, like we're trying to be like budget conscious here, right? I think you could cover your bases well if you cycled those, just a bottle by bottle here, bottle there. Even if it wasn't something, like if it wasn't in your budget to keep it in continuously, just bringing that in every once in a while. So, especially if there's certain seasons of life of the actual year that you might need some more support. I think those could be helpful. Another thing I was going to show you just some more options, but those would be kind of the basics I would do. I would get a binder in either the minerals or the core nutrients. Okay. They also have these optimized kits, which for some people that kind of want to continue with a kit for more optimization, they have a couple of options here. One is Optimize A, and you see it's just got the minerals, it's got the mitochondrial support, the Viride Chem, the Tutka, which is a fantastic product, and I wish it wasn't so expensive because I'd be like, take that, and I would too, but I can't afford it either. So I would take that like every day if money was of no object. And then this is their metabolic activator, which is that really low dose iodine. And so this kit is really to support metabolic health, generally speaking. And then their Optimized B is a little bit more gut targeted. So you could do both, but really it's kind of like you could choose one based on what you're feeling. Do you need just a little bit more overall metabolic support or a little bit more gut support? And so it includes their probiotic and their digestive enzyme, proteolytic enzyme type product. Another product they just came out with that I didn't pull it up is it's another mitochondria product. What is it called? Myo something. And it's a good one too. So the BCATP is a mitochondrial product, right? And remember, the mitochondria are the energy makers in our body. They do so much. And as we age, as we just, everything that we kind of do to our body that's wrong really, really compromises the health of our mitochondria. They slow down. This supports your existing mitochondria. Their new product, the Mito, I don't know why it's escaping me off the top of my head. It's called Mito something. It is actually helping you create supporting new mitochondrial biogenesis, or the making of new mitochondria. So that, that's kind of a neat product. I just wanted to bring this up just so now, in case anybody's interested, I would now clear you to do a full moon cleanse if you wanted to. Like, so many people want to just jump into a full moon cleanse, and you've heard me say it, like, would never. And now that you've been through it all, can you imagine trying just like, oh, you hadn't done anything before and you just start taking all these at once? I mean, okay, no. So, but now that you've been through it, if you ever wanted to come back around and do a full moon cleanse once a year, once a quarter, twice a year, whatever you want to do, it can be useful. That's something that can be useful. And so they have a beginner, an advanced, an intermediate. And so it would come with the instructions. So just so you know, that's there, comes with the instructions to tell you what to do if it's something that you felt like you wanted to do. And like, I know, Monica, you said you're about to go on your mission trip and you were kind of wondering what to take. I was going to say take para 1 and para 3, but I don't know, not if it's going to give you diarrhea. But if one of those, in a binder, for sure. I would take a binder, para 1, and then if you don't tolerate para 3 well, then maybe one of the other paras. But what you could also do is when you get back, do a full moon cleanse. That might be a nice thing to do. But, and I can't remember, if y'all remember from the videos, I'm pretty sure it was para 1, that Dr. Todd was talking about going to India, and I'm pretty positive it was para 1. That was pretty critical in what he was taking. When I get sick, I take para 3. Para 3 is kind of like I kind of think of it as, a little bit of a Swiss Army knife para product, so that's the one when I take.
Chelsea,
Yes.
the purpose of the full moon cleanse, is that to just take advantage of the timing so that like it does a deeper cleanse, like it's more intense. It does everything it did like that we did these last 4 months, but just like in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's targeted. They're more active. Parasites are more active during a full moon. And so that's another thing, we haven't even talked about, but if some of you are kind of having some dips and, peaks and valleys, it could be interesting to know if they're aligning with the timing of the moon, the full moon, but they are a little bit more active during the full moon. So it's kind of a good time to target them. And so it's just kind of a nice maintenance cleanse to do. Yeah. And, if you already have para 3 left over because you haven't used it for anything else, then you could just get, and you already have a binder on hand. I mean, if you had the Virad Chem, you could use that. You don't necessarily have to use the biotoxin binder, although the biotoxin binder is a little bit more targeted for the, I always say like the bacterial poop, like what the bacteria, what they shed, they're like lipopolysaccharides, these little LPSs, and the things that they shed, the kind of toxic effects that they put out. Biotoxin binder is really good at grabbing those, but Virad Chem also has some biotoxin binder. So I'm just saying, like, so you can put these together, some of these things together yourself. If you still had para 3 left over and you already had your Virad Chem binder because that's something you're having on hand and you want to do a full moon cleanse, so you could just, get a para 1 and para 2 and then use it during the full moon cleanse and then put it in your shelf and have it for a next time you might want to do one. So just, lots of options there. Any questions about any of that?
Can you what are the differences between the two binders again?
Okay, so, well, the biotoxin, each of them have good binding capability. Biotoxin, why Virad Chem is kind of a nice all around is because it is 1/3 biotoxin binder, the ingredients of biotoxin binder. It is 1/3 the ingredients of HMET, the heavy metal environmental toxins, one that you're taking in step 4. And then it's 1/3 kind of its own formulation. And so it's a nice kind of broad spectrum of all of those things. Which makes it a nice all around. But but biotoxin binder is a pretty good all around as well. So really either one of those would be a good one to have on hand. For sure. Oh, okay. So one thing I was going to let y'all know is that Cellcore doesn't really run sales anymore. Unfortunately, they used to do percentage sales off, but now they do like a cash rewards, like, like you've ever been to Kohl's and you buy and they'll give you cash like bucks that you can use later. It's kind of like that. They're going to have one May 12th through the 26th. So if you are going to get some stuff, you might hold off until then when they're running that special. I just got an email that says they're going to do that, and it'll be 15% cash reward. So whatever you buy, then you'll get like a credit of 15% of that to be used by July 31st, like through June and July. So so that kind of comes on the heels of that pretty quick. So, I mean, if you just, think about how you want to organize that, right? If you want to get some percentage, 15% back, but then also you have to spend it by the end of July. So just kind of being strategic maybe in how you figure out what you want to order and then what you might need more of in a little bit. So you could use it towards that. Okay. Stop. Oh, did we get to all the questions? Hang on, I don't think we did. I got sidetracked with that. Let's go back here to our questions. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Monica, we kind of talked about your mission trip to Kenya. Amazing. Very cool. Okay, we talked about bringing para 3 back in. Chris, we talked about that. Okay, yeah, we did. We answered all the questions. Okay, fantastic. I just wanted to make sure we got through all of those. Okay, the other thing, just kind of housekeeping, is that, so for those of you that started and are, in January, into December, in January, will be taking you out of the group since we're wrapping it up. So usually instead of 4 months, we usually give, 5 months for buffer for everybody to kind of wrap up. So kind of depending when you started, you'll be removed from the group. But if anybody wants to stay, we have a thing where you can join for $29 a month. And just if you want to keep coming to the Zooms for any reason, if you're still trying to wrap up or you just, I don't know, want to hang out more and ask questions about Cellcore, you can. So that is an option. We'll probably send that out in an email for you so you can have that if you want it. Okay, if you take CT minerals, do we still need more of magnesium? I think it's useful to have magnesium. They do have, yeah, I do like, and Cellcore actually just came out with a magnesium product as well. But I think some form of magnesium would be helpful. Deb, yeah, Cellcore just came out with like a whole, they call it their kind of cellular nutrition line, and it's kind of more along your general supplements like the core nutrients, and they have a magnesium, and they have a vitamin D K2. They have that special mitochondrial supplement, and they have one other one. Is it glycine? I can't remember. I have them. I haven't used. I do like the Mito product, and the core nutrients, kind of playing around with those. Those are, yeah, but they have, they have all of those. It's just they are more expensive. But if you were really going through something where you really wanted it to be very efficiently put into the cell, Cellcore is going to have that because of that carbon technology. So if there's something you really needed it to work. Would Optimize A be good if I'm wondering if I'm insulin resistant? Yes, it could be helpful. One thing I would add in there though, or consider from them, is their GCO product, which is their glucose optimization. That would be, and you might even just try that. I think that and like a Tuca together would be really helpful for insulin resistance.
Hi, Chelsea. I have a question. So I finished, I think, over the fall group, and had no problems whatsoever. It was great. But I just ordered and had my husband start military, exposed to a ton of toxins, a ton of vaccines. I expect him to have a lot more trouble. And I want to warn him up front, like, hey, you might have trouble. Is there a certain month where he might start to see problems or feel really bad, that sort of thing?
It could be anytime.
Oh, lovely. He'll be thrilled.
I'm sorry. But also I tell people, a lot of people that you think, because there's been people over the years, I'm like, ooh, they're going to have a hard time. And they don't. And they sell.
Yeah.
Some people I'm like, they're going to sell right through. They have a hard time. It is really no rhyme or reason. It's really hard to say. And, just, I don't remember, well, yeah, you were in the fall group, which was such a great group. But, it can just never know. And
right.
Things can hit differently. I mean, in that group, we had a lot of people struggle with step 3, and this group, we had a lot of people kind of struggle with step 2. So it varies.
Okay.
One thing I would say, if he's willing, since he's just got all that toxicity, if he's tolerating things well and not seeing any issue, especially when we get to the paras, and things are, we really start killing and pulling stuff, he can kick up the dosage.
Okay.
If you look at the aggressive dosage chart, I mean, he can kick that up to that.
Okay. He also does not have regular bowel movements, so I have him on the magnesium, and I do have the bowel movement because I didn't need it. So I've got a whole thing of it. And when should I tell him to take it? Because he's like, oh, I'm fine. And I'm like, you're going to want to go every day. When should I tell him to take it and how much?
Yeah, if he's starting, I mean, if he's not pooping, yeah, just take it. Take it any time of the day. I think taking
Okay.
it on an empty stomach, plenty of water, it's just a little more potent when it's taken on its own instead of
Okay.
with other things. But I think one a day and see what that does.
Is it like an instant? Well, not instant, but is it like a pretty quick thing? Okay.
No, I usually take mine at bedtime if I'm taking them.
Okay.
Take them in the evening, and then hopefully, like in the morning, we're gonna have our poop.
Okay. That works.
Okay.
And also I still can't get into the group on Kartra or anything. So it just says no option to purchase.
Okay,
I
but
don't know
you're
why.
not in Mighty Networks. You're not in the like
Am I?
the area I just shared, like all this right here. You didn't get into this.
So my screen, so when I go into the Mighty app, it gives me pretty much nothing. Like yeah, it just says not currently available to purchase. It doesn't give me any options to purchase anything when I
Okay.
click choose plan. So
Okay. So maybe okay. I'll check
yeah.
on that.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully he'll feel much better in the long run. So,
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. But don't be afraid to kick it up if he's tolerating it well.
okay, will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I have a few more days of Para 1 left. We are leaving for a 2-week trip tomorrow, but if I take the rest of the Para 1 when we return and I start having stringy things in my poop again, does that mean I should continue it until the stringy things go away? Are you saying take the rest of it when we return? You could,
As soon as stage 2 started, I started having the stringy things, and it did. And based upon what Monica said, it was more than biofilm. And I mean, some was 2 to 3 feet long, and it went somewhat. There were days it wasn't as extensive, but it continued through stage 3, and those stage 2 and 3 is the only months that I have Para 1. So I'm assuming it was the Para 1 that facilitated this, and it stopped as soon as I stopped the Para 1.
okay.
I'm wondering if I go back on it and it comes back. What does that mean?
Well, it might mean, yeah, you just have more junk to clear out, so it certainly wouldn't hurt. There are people that stay on Para 1 like for a long, 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 long time. So you certainly could.
Okay.
Just
And
see.
does the people who stayed on a long, long time, does eventually all the stuff go away?
I think, yes, I think so. I mean, some people take it not even just because of that, but just as proactively,
Mm-hmm.
not even having that. So, but I think if it was significant, then I think it's worth do another bottle, see where you are.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, well, let's see. I can't remember what the link is. So are you just coming back to the group or pay the month or get all the information? I think it's just to the Zoom calls. Um, I think it's just to the Zoom calls. But I don't know, if you needed access for something, I don't know. You can email me. We can talk about it. But the $29 a month is really just kind of the Zoom calls, just kind of stay. You can ask questions and stuff. But a lot of that stuff you can, you're welcome to download it and take it with you if you need it. I mean, you can't really the videos, but some of the other stuff you can. I don't know what you need out of there, but are you trying to unmute? No, okay.
Chelsea,
Yes, ma'am.
I just remember one thing. I remember that on the circle videos, the guy said that it was very common for people to do para 1 and para 3 combined. But when is that? Like for maintenance or for when certain things are happening? I wasn't quite sure why.
I'm trying to remember the context of which video.
Yeah, I think it was one of the introduction videos, if I don't remember correctly. I can't remember. I have seen so many.
Oh, I'm not sure, but I was thinking, Anne, I don't know if Anne went away already, but I was thinking, Anne, you might combine it if you do the para 1, you might combine it with para 3 and when you get back and see. what
Okay.
that does. It is a good combo.
Because I think with my experience was that those two were the ones that were responsible for the diarrhea, para 1 and para 3. I don't think it was para 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a great combo. It's a good combo. Just remember, if you go back on para 3, just to cycle it off after a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. Oh, Brianna. Okay, I see. Yeah, for that you have to come back in, kind of repurchase the whole thing. But you have a leg up because you've been through it, and it's good because you will be able to be a CellCore. You'll have access to as a CellCore practitioner once you're through the school, and so that's good. But yeah, it would be separate for that. So the monthly fee, yeah, it only includes the Zoom calls.
Is today the last day we have access to the group?
No, if you joined early, well, we're gonna kind of look at the day that you joined, but most of you kind of joined around the same time, those that started for this. So probably May 15th will be the last day we'll take out. Unless if you started in February, like, if that's when you bought it, you'll have a little extra time. Just kind of depends. Okay. That's good. All right. Diane, you coming in for a question? Okay.
Yeah. So, the materials, we're not going to have access to those, or do we still?
Okay. Well,
Through
you're in
the
the Christian
club. Okay.
Yeah. You're in
That's
the Christian Health Club. It's just part of your
Okay.
materials. So you
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I just wanted to say thanks so much for doing this. I'm kind of like the Johnsons. I feel like I just sailed right through it, which is such a blessing. But I trust the products and I trust that they're absolutely working. And my husband and I have 3 small kiddos, and one of them is definitely not meant to be solo parented. So like just knowing that I got to do this, doing my part to like stick with him and the family for as long as possible has just been such a like mental blessing with everything that we have in our environment and culture that works against our health. So thank you. It has been a blessing.
I'm so glad. Well, absolutely. Again, I love doing it in this format because I think it's super helpful for y'all to get to be around other people doing it at the same time and hear the different experiences and just the encouragement to stick it out. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad that it was a good experience for you. That's great. Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for participating, being encouraging in the group, sticking it out. It's just, again, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I know it's not easy and it was a big commitment. So well done. And if you need anything else, let me know. Again, we'll follow up with a kind of a wrap up email for y'all. And then if you need anything else, let me know. Okay. Bye, y'all. Thank you.